Reverend Dr. Renee Hart. I'm an independent minister and I'm a licensed practitioner for Center for Spiritual Living in the Redlands. Our Reverend is Reverend Carrie, and we appreciate her so much and love her dearly. So we're going to go into meditation this morning. So I want you to just take that breath and I want you to breathe. Take another breath and I want you to breathe. So as we take this God breath, we open our heart space and we take that breath and breathe, allowing God's Spirit to move in us, through us, and all around us today in this meditation. Today's meditation is to free yourself. Open up your heart. If there's anything you're ready to let go of, today is a day to release. So open up the heart space. Sit comfortably in your chair. Move your head from side to side. Move it conscious. Now I want you to breathe. Take another breath. And breathe. Now open up your heart space. And breathe. breath in. Take this God breath. Breathe. Take another God breath and breathe. Take another God breath and sigh. As we bring our awareness back into the sacred space, feeling very comfortably in your chair, move your head from side to side, fully conscious of where you are. As we take this God breath in this beautiful meditation today, we know we are free. We move into the highest vibration of freedom today. And this concludes our meditation for this beautiful, beautiful Easter Sunday. Namaste.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together, we come together, in the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together, in the name of love. We come together, we come together, we come together, in the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God and each other, yeah. Now look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together, in the name of love. We come together, we come together, we come together, in the name of love. Yeah, we come together. Oh, we come together. Yeah, we come together, in the name of love.
Thank you, Gilman. Good morning, everyone, and happy Easter. My name is Ed Torres. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living of Redlands. Our theme for this month is stepping into the unknown. Like we all have not already done that for the last year, but we're going to step again into something exciting. We are an open, inclusive community that honors all people from every background, all races, sexual orientation, gender expressions, and spiritual paths. No matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. If you are here for the first time, please raise your hand. Is there anyone here for the first time? Welcome, welcome. We're glad that you're here. And I already gave you the package.
Hello.
Hello. And
Welcome.
Okay, welcome.
Welcome.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hello.
Well, there we go. All this trifecta with, Facebook, Zoom, and all this other good stuff, YouTube. And if you're here in Zoom, here for Zoom, please unmute yourself, and you've already done that to welcome everyone. And everyone just look around and say, we're glad to see you here.
We're
Good
glad
morning.
to see you all here today.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for the beautiful meditation, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Happy Easter to you all.
You
Happy
too.
Easter.
And so we welcome you. Enjoy the service. And now here's Gilman's centering music. Thank you.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now. It's in every one of us to be free. Find your heart, open your eyes and see. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, you and I. It's in every one of us, you and I.
So as we take this God breath, we breathe. Let's take another God breath on this beautiful day and breathe. So in this moment, what I know in this very moment is that God is all that there is. What I know in this very moment is God is loving kindness. God is perfection in form. God is that infinite intelligence. And in this truth, what I know is that I am one with the universal spirit. So that I know we are all one with that spirit. God's spirit is moving in us and through us all around us today. And so what I know in this moment, perfection is ours right now. Loving kindness is moving through every cell of our body right here, right now. So let's just take that breath and breathe into this awareness of this truth. And so as we move into that unknown place, this sacred space, We open our hearts and knowing that God is at the core center. Breathe. Spirit is the core center of our being today. So we bless this day. We bless each and every one of you today that's online, that's at the Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. We bless and knowing all is in divine right order today. All is well. So as we move into this truth of this new awareness that God is all that there is, and God's spirit is moving and activated within every cell, within our whole being, God is. So we know that there's no separation. We speak this truth because we know this is our truth today. And so as we know, and this is our truth, we walk in alignment with our higher self. That space where no one has ever touched. That sacred space with you and God. Let's take that breath and breathe. And we're knowing all is well. We're knowing all is in divine right order right here, right now. Right here, right now. One more time. Right here, right now. And in this truth, we give thanks for perfect harmony. We give thanks for love. We give thanks for loving kindness today. We give thanks for that unknown that has been revealed to us today. We give thanks for all of it. We give thanks for each and every one of you here today. We give thanks. And we're knowing all is well. All is in divine right order today. Let's breathe. And if we're in agreement with this prayer, we will say, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. We know our words have power. Hallelujah. God is good. God bless.
This morning's reading comes from the Science of Mind textbook, the chapter on immortality, which is a nice chapter to visit at this time of year on Easter. This is from page 388. He says, when we meet each other, do we not feel that subtle presence which flows through all things and gives flight and color to our everyday experiences? In our own souls, in the silent processes of thought and understanding, do we not sense another presence? There is something divine about us which we have overlooked. There is more to us than we realize. Every person is an eternal destiny, a forever expanding principle of conscious intelligence, the ocean in the drop of water, the sun in its rays. Each individual in reality is birthless, deathless, changeless, and God, as expressed through each of us, is also within us and is the very truth of our being. The highest God and the innermost God is one and the same God. And so we prepare not to die, but to live. The thought of death should slip from the consciousness altogether. And when this great event of the soul takes place, it should be beautiful, sublime, a glorious experience. As the eagle freed from its cage soars to its native heights, so the soul freed from the home of the heavy flesh will rise and return to its Father's house, complete and unafraid.
Hello, I am Edward Fillion. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in his final Easter message, talked about that great hope and expectation that we have that we shall continue to live in whatever form is appropriate to the next phase of our existence. He believed that whatever it is that makes us alive and aware and awake in this life shall continue beyond the grave. He taught us that our consciousness is a permanent part of our being, and some call that the soul. Now, although Dr. Holmes clearly had confidence that we shall continue as part of eternity, he encouraged us to live the best life we are capable of living today, not to let our focus on the future life rob us of the experience of living today in this world, in this body, in whatever experience we are going through. And that's something powerful to consider, especially while we are navigating, sheltering in place, and preparing in consciousness to be together. We're stepping out into the unknown together. And I'm asking myself, how can I stay in the present moment and honor that which lives in me while at the same time asking what newness wants to come alive in me, in us, in our families, in our nation, and on our planet. During the aftermath of September 11 in New York, the students of Swami Satchidananda gathered and asked, what could they do? And apart from the instruction to help as we can, he said something very interesting. He said, know this, that our finite human minds cannot understand or take in the impact or reach of our prayer or loving intention. So don't forget to do that, even while you and I are preparing to step into the greater yet to be and making plans. Don't forget, because we may not be able to conceive of or understand the reach and impact of our prayer practice or do it. In other words, don't wait for things to get better for you to share what beauty is inside of you now. Don't wait for love in some future time. Don't hope for freedom later. Don't wish for peace to come, but instead let those qualities of love and freedom and peace be alive in you right now, today. After all, think of it, someone very near to you is waiting for that. Maybe it's you yourself. Someone close to you is counting on that. I'm confident that when we turn to these qualities and accept them in our consciousness as the truth of who we are, that's when they come back to life in this world today through us. It is customary at Centers for Spiritual Living at Easter time for some centers to celebrate eternal life as something we are living right now, that is continually resurrecting itself. My colleague, Dr. Margaret Stortz, writes about resurrection in a very practical and personal way, saying, well, there's a resurrection every morning when we wake up. We're engaging in a kind of ongoing resurrection practice, and she invites us to remember that every time we wake up, there are awaiting possibilities. And so why not let each day's resurrection hold real meaning by being mindful of what lives in us and how we wish to bring that alive, into how we wish to wake that up in the world. You know, what we are living through right now is calling us both to release some of those things that no longer serve us, and also to imagine what we want to rise up into. And appropriately, April's suggested theme is stepping into the unknown. And week one's topic is the path less traveled, and week two is the winds of change. And week three's topic requires some explanation. It's blessitation. Blessitation, that's the paradoxical feeling of blessings and hesitations that often accompanies the moment when we step out into the unknown. Blessitation. And then the final week is about stepping out and stepping up. Let me close with something Joseph Campbell said. We must be willing to let go of the life we had planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. My blessings to you.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up
Yes? It's working. Okay, it feels a little hot, so maybe you might want to turn it down a little bit. All right. Oh. Okay, well, I'm going to get going unless you want me to use that mic. You got it. All right. All of these wonderful technology things allows us to be open to so much more than what. All right, let's try this mic. Ooh, that's much better. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Easter. I am so glad to see all of you here with us this morning. Last Sunday, I misspoke. That's never happened to me. I actually said that the song that Gilman sang, Amazing Things, which was amazing, by the way, if you didn't get to hear it, I explained that that song was written by Reverend Michael Gott, who is the Unity minister in Houston, Texas. That song was actually written by Megan McDonough and Jana Stanfield. So I just want to set that record straight, that Megan and Jana wrote Amazing Things, and Michael Gott sang it. And so did Gilman last week. And speaking of Gilman, let's give him a nice round of applause for all of his talent. Thank you so much, Gilman. Last month, through the month of March, we talked about visioning. We talked about asking, what is the highest idea for my life? And last week, we did a visioning process. And something may have come through for you in that process that was a higher idea for your life. And something might not have come through. It might have just been a blank space for you. But what I know is that the door was kicked open so that you could receive that divine idea at other times, maybe when you're doing dishes or playing ball with a friend or something. And when we open ourselves to that highest idea, we get that we're living a journey. We are being a part of a life that the divine is seeking to express through us. And when we take that journey of that life, it's a little bit scary at times to step into it. But what we can also know is that we have a great example to follow. Because if you know anything about the life of Jesus, you know that he was somewhat of an activist. I mean, he strayed away from the teachings of the religion that he was brought up in. And he taught people, he didn't really stray from it, but he taught everyone the importance of unconditional love and compassion and forgiveness. One of the biggest lessons I believe that he taught was on forgiveness. Today we're going to take a look at that and some of the other things that he taught while he was going through a very difficult time in his life. Now, I know that he's one of the figures that we look to, especially if we were brought up in Christian churches, the standard brand Christian churches, and then we've come to religious science to go deeper and to look at more. So we know that he's a great example, but there's examples in humanity all over the world of people who go through dark times, are seemingly crucified, and then they rise up out of it. Do you know anyone like that? Maybe you're one of those people. Well, let's take a look at this. So, let's see, where am I? Ernest Holmes, our founder, believed that Jesus was the most highly developed spiritual master the world has ever known. He was one of the masters of that time. There were more of them, and Jesus was the ultimate spiritual master. And I'll explain why. He was able to, well, you see, through the resurrection and the disappearance of his body, he displayed the spiritualization of his consciousness. He was able to move himself into another dimension and allow that to be part of the lesson that he came to teach. We all have that same capability. We all have that divine power within us to do just as he did. And we are working on developing it as Jesus did. And he didn't rise up. He resurrected from the tomb, of course, but he didn't rise up into a place. He rose up into an up-leveled consciousness. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the story of the last days of Jesus gives us quite a nice outline for a fully realized spiritual life. He said, well, there are three traditional sentences that Jesus explained as he was going through his crucifixion and death. And the first phrase that we're going to focus on this morning is, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. At the time in his life when he had done his teaching and was forced to carry the cross and to be hung upon it, and those were torture devices, by the way. And so he was hung on this cross, and at that moment of torture, he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. He was showing compassionate love to the people who crucified him. Wow. And it's one of the biggest lessons that we can take from that whole experience and that whole writing in the Bible. He was not only living a life that allowed him to teach the principles of absolute love, but he was living a life that allowed him to be the example for all of us to follow. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Have you ever had a time in your life when you have felt crucified by someone or something, or maybe an organization? Yeah. I think maybe we all have at some level. It might not be as dramatic as hanging on a cross, thank goodness. But there are those times when we feel like we are being persecuted. And those are the times that we get to stand up and say, I forgive them. And by the way, folks, we also get to forgive ourselves for being the part of it that helped it unfold. Because it takes a village for everything to happen. Throughout Jesus' life, He demonstrated the understanding of the importance of every human life. For him, there were no hierarchies in society, and there was not for him any discrimination. So he loved everyone equally and saw everyone as equal to him. And so that's why we call him the master teacher, because he said this when he was on the cross and there was a criminal next to him. He said, "Believe me, I tell you truth today, you will be with me in paradise." You will be with me in paradise. It doesn't matter what it is that we have done that might seem wrong. There are people who do what we think are wrong things. And when we do those things, when we make those mistakes or those choices, it's up to us to realize that everyone around us might make a mistake too, and so we can know for them that they are the divine in form just like we are. Wow. That's kind of easier said than done sometimes, isn't it? When you have someone who is in your life, I'm thinking of my ex-husband at this moment, and when you have this person who's in your life who is making choices that you wouldn't make, who is making sure that you know that he's better than you are, all of those kinds of people are the people that we get to bless and know that we're in paradise with them and they with us. We're all here together. So we might as well use that compassionate love that we've been taught to use so that we can bring even more love and even more light to the universe. Are you up for that? You think that's a good thing to do, to really see the good in another person and realize that we're all in paradise together? Yes, we are. And then there's the whole idea. When Jesus said on the cross, he was almost in his last breath, and he said, "It is finished." It is finished. The purpose that he came to this planet to express was finished. He knew it was time for him to move forward into the next level of his unfoldment, and it was time for the earth to move into the next level of its unfoldment. It is finished. We have a purpose. We each have a purpose on this planet. And last week, when we did that visioning, asking for the highest idea for our life, we tapped into that purpose. And the things that come through in those visioning sessions might seem so weird. As I explained last week, the first time I ever visioned, an ear floated past my vision space. And I had no idea what that was about, but I know it now. But it might be that you see something in your imagination during a visioning process that makes no sense. You don't have to worry about it because it will make sense as time goes on, because you've opened the door for that purpose of your life to be fully expressed through and as you. How do you like that? Isn't that fun? Yeah. And then when you have fully expressed that purpose, when you have done all of the work that you can do in that way, you can say, it's finished. We have And Jesus knew this and taught this. We have full authority over our life. You have full authority over your life. And he spoke of this powerfully through his life. I think one of the most challenging things that Jesus came here to teach was that during these challenging times, we can't rise above it. We can rise up and set ourselves free from whatever it was in the past that had us bogged down and living in darkness. You realize he was in the tomb after he died, and then the tomb is darkness. And so he came out of the tomb and out of the darkness and into the light. That's what happens every spring with flowers. Daffodils are some of my favorites. And I love how they come up out of the darkness of the ground and they whoop, and there's those beautiful little daffodils just spreading their joy. So you see, we too are like that master teacher, Jesus. We could come out of our own darkness and move up into an elevated place spiritually and consciously so that we can live a life that gives us so much more than we ever imagined. When we consider that the story of Jesus has been articulated down through the ages, and a lot of us identify with us, and some of us don't. But what we do know is that the teaching of this particular story, the teaching of forgiveness, is so powerful, and it's so freeing. I had an experience many years ago after my ex-husband and I divorced, and I had a lot of forgiveness work to do, and there was so much, and I would come and I would talk to Dr. Ruth Wilkerson about that, and she would help me through it. But what I began to notice is that when I could talk about him and when I could remember things, it didn't affect me as much because the forgiveness work was done. It was finished. So we need to, and Jesus instructed us to forgive 70 times 7 or 70 times 77. I mean, a lot until it was done, until it was complete. It's important for us to take the time to put ourselves into the power of that forgiveness and to include ourselves in that forgiveness work. What will happen is that we will be given almost wings to fly up out of that situation, and it gives us patience and kindness and compassion towards so many people and so many events in life. And so you begin to see that things that are happening in the world are happening, and they have been happening, haven't they? And if we allow ourselves to take the teaching of Jesus within us and know that we are moving out of a dark time and into the light, then we are going to be able to step forward and out and rise up into a life that is so much more magnificent than we have ever known before COVID, before anything else. And we must be patient with ourselves. We must be patient with ourselves and with others and express that compassion from our big heart. So today, I'm asking us to remember that we are the divine, Turn to somebody near you and say, "You are the divine." Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed, you are. And when you remember that about people near you, even outside of church, you'll be amazed at how much lighter your life becomes. Oh, yes. And so today I want us to take away these things. Forgive until it's finished. Show compassion and love, and know that everyone, including yourself, is divine. You are a master. You are a master. Know that. So here's our affirmation for this week. I joyfully take the road of radical forgiveness to freedom. All right, I'm going to repeat part of it, and then you can repeat part of it. I joyfully take the road of radical forgiveness to freedom. Woohoo! Thank you, and amen.
Look up, and you should go up. Look down, and you probably fall down. Place your attention on where you wanna be, and you will be there eventually. Look out, and you should go out. Look back, and you probably fall back. Place your focus on what you wanna be, and you will be it so easily. Rise, rise out of the old paradigm. Rise, rise into the presence of the divine. Rise, rise out of the old paradigm. Rise, rise into the presence of the divine, yeah. Think good, and you should feel good. Think love, you're probably falling in love. Watch your thoughts and choose carefully, and you will become, yes, you will be just what you wanna be. Rise, rise out of the old paradigm. Rise, rise into the presence of the divine. Rise, rise out of the old paradigm. Rise, rise into the presence of the divine, yeah. Look up, and you sure to go up. Look down, and you probably fall down. Place your focus on where you wanna be, and you will be there. Yes, I promise that you'll be up there. Know that you'll be there eventually.
Thank you, Gilman. Okay, all you wonderful divine people, here are the announcements. We have a new class beginning soon. Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life begins on Tuesday, May 4th at 6:30 p.m. This is a 5-week course. You can learn how to apply science of mind principles, practices, and methods to enhance your life in three areas: relationships, prosperity, and health. The tuition is $170 and can be paid in 2 installments. To register for the class, contact Reverend Carrie at revcarrie@cslredlands.org. It's going to be a great class. I'm going to take that class. I'm looking forward to it. Receive your midweek boost every Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. with Reverend Dr. Renee Hart. Facilitates a beautiful meditation and followed by an inspirational message. It is on Facebook Live from 7 to 8 p.m. Our sanctuary, as you know, is now open every Sunday morning. Yay! And to enjoy a Sunday service in person. We have all COVID-19 safety precautions in place that you can feel safe. Of course, you can continue to see us on Zoom, Facebook Live, YouTube, and out there wherever you want to be. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube when you can. For our services, we need to reach 100 to get our own channel. I don't know how many we have, but hopefully we're getting close. And let's see. One other thing, after the service today, one thing I want to just have a couple other announcements. If you haven't received your vaccine, we have flyers here. Redlands Community Hospital is giving the COVID vaccine. There's some flyers there, you can take down the information, but they are now allowing anyone to come and get their COVID shots, so that's important. And then also, every Thursday we do a food distribution for the community. Our center has been doing this for almost a year now, maybe a little longer. We do need some help. One of our volunteers went back to full employment, and we need a truck that could pick up some boxes. Our pickup location is right on the other side of the freeway, so it's not far from our center. And it's from 7 a.m. to like 8 a.m. So if any of you have a vehicle, a truck that could help bring boxes from the distribution center to our center here, that would be wonderful. We have people that come and pick up things. And then also, we need a couple other volunteers just to help load these boxes. They're about this big. They're not very heavy, but just to load them on the truck. We have one truck, and then we need one other truck at the distribution location, and then just come and help us unload. That would be very helpful. If anyone is interested, I have Jean's number here, and for those on Facebook and YouTube and Zoom, Jean's number is 909-312-9981, and we would be more than happy to get your assistance on that. And it's every Thursday morning. So they're planning on doing this, I believe, for the rest of the year. So the administration said they're going to continue this program to help those that are in need. So after the service today, those attending in Zoom can stay right where you are and join us in the and for those in the sanctuary can join us and gather around the camera to say hello and to visit with each other. And thanks for coming and joining us today. And you all have a beautiful day, and there's more to come. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ed, for being our announcer welcome person this morning. Might help to. 2, 3, 4. All right, there we are. So thank you, Ed, for being our announcer person this morning. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. And now it's time for all of us to appreciate this Center for Spiritual Living through our gifts and tithes. This is the time where we get to open up the law of circulation so that it works in our life. I have seen this work so beautifully in my life and in the lives of others. As we give, we also receive. It just works that way. It's the two sides of the same coin. So today we have an offering bowl here at the front of the sanctuary if you would like to come and give your gift during our offering song. We also have online ways for you to donate. One of them is on our Facebook page. There's a donate button there. There's a donate button on our website. And you can also use Venmo, or you can use Zelle. You set that up through your bank. It's my new favorite way to give. You can also use PayPal, or you can write a check and put it in an envelope and mail it to the church, or you can bring it by on a weekday and put it in our secure mailbox, or you can bring it with you on Sunday and put it in the bowl. There's so many ways to give, and all of the gifts that you give are blessed, and they are used in the community and in our spiritual community with great care. So let's take a moment. If you want to hold your gift over your heart, we'll repeat our offering affirmation together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world. And it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
Thank you, Gilman, and thank you to all of you for supporting this Center for Spiritual Living and for supporting yourself by that gift. It's now time for our closing healing prayers, so I'm going to invite us to just take a nice big deep breath with me. Just breathe in real big and let it out. And I invite you to close your outer eyes so that you can turn within into that deep place where the divine dwells within you. And allow yourself to fully and deeply know the presence of God, the presence of the infinite is right here, right now, in this place. And dancing and singing music. Oh, yes. And so we simply know that in this place there is only the divine, and that divine presence is abundance, it is perfect health, it is absolute knowing, it is the truth with a capital T. That divine presence is all that there is throughout the universe. It has created all that is, and it continuously creates all that we can see and all that we cannot see. all that we can touch and all that we can't touch. It creates all life, and it has created us from its image and likeness. And I know that each one of us is the very image and likeness of the infinite, the divine, the unconditional love that is that presence and power that we can call God if we want to. And so I know that in this unity, where we are one not only with the divine, but with each other because we are divine, I speak my word to know the truth for each one of us here today. I know that as we step forward on this path less traveled, I know that our path unfolds before us, bringing us ever closer to that magnificent life that awaits us, that is there, that all we need to do is move forward into it. I know for each of us that we are transformed by this beautiful expression of the divine that wants to express itself as us, as our purpose. And I know that as we express this purpose, we do so from that place of unconditional love and absolute perfection. I am so grateful to know that each one of us is here today willing, ready to say yes to the new transformative experience of the new life that awaits us. And I speak my word this morning for all of those who may be ill, who may be suffering from disease, a sickness. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be emotional, it could even be spiritual. And I know the truth for each individual who is experiencing some sort of discomfort, dis-ease. And I know for each of these people that this is not the truth of their being. The truth of their being is that they are whole and perfect and complete on every level, every molecule, every cell, every drop of liquid in their body is the wholeness of the infinite. And I know this is true, and I know that this wholeness reveals itself, and the healing doesn't even need to take place because the wholeness is already there, expressing itself in light and healing, beauty and perfection. I speak my word for those people in my life that I know that are moving toward their transition into the next dimension. And I speak my word for anyone that you might know in that same position. Or maybe someone has made that transition. And so we enfold them in this prayer this morning, knowing that every step they take toward the new life in the new dimension is a step that is blessing them in their new unfoldment, in their new way of being. And they are lifted up into rising without fear, without hesitation, with only peace, with only love. And I know that each one of us are surrounded in the comfort of that love, of that peace. I speak my word this morning, knowing that this Center for Spiritual Living continues to grow and thrive and continues to be the light in this community of Redlands. And I know that people are drawn to us who are ready to receive this infinite, beautiful, unconditional light that is love. And as they receive it, they embrace it, and it becomes who they are. I know for every person who even thinks of this center, there is a blessing that is profound and beautiful. I know for every person in this community and around the world who is without shelter this day, I know that they are sheltered in the arms of the infinite, and they are guided to that physical shelter that keeps them safe, warm, dry, and makes them feel loved. I know there is more than enough food for all people. I'm seeing it pour itself out in so many ways. So I know that because there is so much abundance in the universe, that everyone in this country, around the world, in the universe, everyone is abundantly supplied on every level with housing, with money, with flow of food and wholeness and wellness and divine relationships. It is already done. It is already in the mind of the infinite. And I am so grateful to know that there is a law of the universe, this creative force, that is taking every word in and producing the manifestation that is called for at this time. I know that everyone this day feels the joy of that manifestation, feels the joy of knowing that every prayer is always answered because the universe always says yes. And it says yes today. So I give thanks. I give thanks knowing that my word spoken is already complete and done and perfect. And I release these words into that divine creative power that is God. And I simply allow it to be. And so we can anchor this and know it is true by saying together, and so it is. Amen.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live, holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fail. Let me learn from all the ways I fail. And let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let that's overflowing. Let me share the good that's overflowing. And let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. And let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Okay, I want to thank everyone and to stick around for meeting the other individuals that are on Zoom and some fellowship. And for those of you that came in person, you can take a banana muffin that was made this morning with you. So that's just a blessing to say Happy Easter and have a beautiful day. And we love everyone, and we'll see you next Sunday. Take care.